Welcome aboard a 747-400 flight deck. We shall have a quick look round. On the left is always the captain's chair, and in front of him are some screens. The first screen to the left is the primary flight display. This shows all the primary flight information of airspeed, altitude, attitude, radio altitude, barometric pressure, heading, and the modes of the flight director system. The screen next to that is the navigation display, which, as the name suggests, shows all the navigational information and weather radar information. Then you have next to that a set of three instruments. They are the standby instruments. Starting at the top is the standby attitude, below that is the standby airspeed, and below that is the standby altimeter. The screen next to that, to the right, is the upper ICAS screen. This shows the primary engine indications, EGT, N1, and the various caution messages or warning messages or memo messages, and the position of the flaps. Below that is the lower ICAS, which gives various synoptic pages and the secondary engine indication. Next to the upper ICAS screen to the right is the gear, the undercarriage handle, and the alternate flaps, and obviously the first officer now has the navigation display and the primary flight display. The glare shield panel above all those is the interface with the autopilot and the various settings to do and modes change on the navigation displays. Outboard of all those screens are the two clocks, and outboard of the lower ICAS screen are the FMS interfaces. And as we move into the flight deck, on the overhead panel we shall have a quick look. These are some of the CBs for the various systems, and as we look down this part of the screen, at the top we have the alternate positions for the engine control units. Normally they are in the off position, but if there's a failure on the engine that requires the ECU to be in alternate, you will select all four to alternate mode. Below that are the inertial reference navigation system, and below that is mainly the electrical page for external power and APU power. Below that is the hydraulic power panel and supply. As we move to the right, you will see some handles at the top of the screen. They are the respective four engines and APU fire handles, which if there is an engine fire, you would pull the appropriate handle and discharge the extinguishant into that engine, hopefully putting the fire out. Now as we look down at the screen, you can see the standby compass in the middle there at the bottom of the screen, and as we work our way up this screen, we have at the very bottom external light control. Then the 5 white switches are the anti-ice switches for wing and engine. Then we have to the right of that, we've got 2 windscreen wiper controls and windscreen heat. Above that is the fuel control panel, the pumps and the crossfeed valves. Above that is the start panel for the engines, as well as the fuel jettison panel, and above that are the 4 fire handles. And cargo smoke and cargo fire suppression system. And down on this screen we have at the top emergency oxygen deployment for passengers, yaw dampers, then we've got the pressurization control panel for the outflow valves. Below that is the cabin and flight deck temperatures setting selectors, as well as the various controls for the air conditioning system and equipment cooling. Below that is the three knobs are the selection for the air conditioning packs. Below that are the bleed system off the engines, and below that finally is another bank of external light switches. Again, we can see the standby compass there. Right, once again, some lighting controls over there by the first officer's right hand side. The screens, as you can see, with the autopilot mode control panel in the centre there above them all. Now we've got the speed brake to the left, the 4 throttles, the flap handle below, and the centre pedal stool. And if we have a look here, we will be able to see the various synoptic pages, the status page, secondary engine indication, air conditioning and pneumatic bleed, wheels and brakes, doors page. Amber indication means the door is open and unlocked. Hydraulic systems and what the various systems feed, pressures, temps, electrical generation system, fuel page, pump operation is indicating the pump is operating is green. If it fails or low pressure, you get an amber, and white box means it off, and same for the jettison override pump, which will be on in a minute. There you go. The 2 flight management computers interface there, the throttles, flaps to the right, and speed brake. And now we've got the fuel control switches at the top of the screen, which is next to the auto stab trim switches. And then on the centre pedestal we have, to the left, we have the radio control module, audio control module, and radio management panel. In the middle there we have at the top weather radar. Below that is the central maintenance computer, CDU. And again, on the first officer side we've got the radio management panel, the audio control panel, and below that we have got the ATC transponder panel, and below that is the auto brakes selector. The CMC CDU is interchangeable with the flight management ones, and here we are on an A330 flight deck. Very similar layout, but these are soft reset breakers up here. Similar sort of layout. This being a twin jet, there's only obviously 2 engines and an APU fire handle, but the various systems are in a similar place to that on the 747. We have primary flight display, navigation display. On the Airbus they call it ECAM instead of ICAS. Basically does the same functions. Again, we have the radio control, flight management and CMC interfaces. Similar synoptics, we've got the status page on the lower ECAM with the secondary engine indications, the pneumatic bleed, the cabin pressure, the electrical AC, electrical DC, hydraulic systems, fuel, flying control positions, doors page, air conditioning system, APU, status page. Orange systems are in-op, and outside that's a Pratt & Whitney 4000, and we have a look around the wing, similar sort of thing. And with this aeroplane we have got a flap fairing missing, which has been removed because it has been damaged. The aircraft is still safe to fly, but the part removed, it does incur a fuel penalty and a weight penalty. So we have to reduce the weight by 5,000 kilos, and the fuel burn increase is up to about 3.5%. Now we're looking at the lower half of the wing, and the Airbus wing is slightly different shape to the traditional Boeing wings. This is a highly efficient wing. It's the landing light, leading edge flaps, and you can see with the residual, with the arrival fuel on board, which is at a minus temperature, we have got a formation of ice on the underside, indicating roughly where the fuel is lying at the moment. Again, we have access panels to gain access to the tanks with this is the mechanical or magnetic fuel indicator. There are a number of them situated at various points of the tank, so we can ascertain the fuel level if the electronic indication system fails. We're coming up to the left hand wing refuel panel. More access points to the tanks if an entry is required. Again, another mechanical measuring stick. We have several these mechanical measuring sticks, as the wing shape obviously creates different levels of fuel. Is still one level, but the respective volume in a given area of the wing does change. So you have to drop the sticks, add up the different lengths, and you should be able to convert that to a quantity. That's basically a quick look round the A330.